life 1 mile at a time. We are continuing our awesome conversation about the Star Wars Dark Side with Gerald from RezRuns, who does the most amazing race recaps. If you haven't discovered him yet, definitely check out the links below. You make mine look bad, Gerald. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And as you will see in the video, his awesome setup for this Jammin' on the Run session also is making us look bad. He's got his video set up, medals hanging, shirts hanging, so it's going to be a good talk. So let's get back into the action.
I actually have a question. So, back to the races in general is, you ran the inaugural, you ran this past year, and I'll go back to say that, earlier in the discussion, you said that they are your favorite. If you could change anything, any recommendations that, if you get the little survey for how did you like this race, what would you say? I mean, was it perfect the way it was? I mean, obviously take out the Mother Nature piece of it. You're a little bit more used to the weather than some of us, but is there anything you'd change or do differently?
Are you specifically Star Wars?
Yeah, specifically this weekend. So the 10K and or the half.
The one really good thing they did this year, after at least for the half marathon, I would say, for both of them, for the 10K it would be during the first 2 miles, and then for the half marathon after the first 4 miles. They really stuck the boring part of it. The long stretch on the road, through the access roads with the woods and past the animal barns. If y'all know what I'm talking about with the nice smells. Mm-hmm. That's all in the beginning. So for the 10K, once you got to about mile 3, it was Hollywood Studios, around the boardwalk, and the whole end of the race.
So where did you actually, and I think this is good for people who are listening, because I think that may have also impacted the individuals who did not do it this year because they weren't fond of the course potentially in the inaugural year, and the course had not been released, right, if I remember correctly, until right before the race. So can you describe how the 10K, and sorry, Laura, I don't mean to usurp this, or Rob, but where did the 10K start? And I know we talked about the Transportation Ticket Center, but how did it run, and the half then as well?
Okay, so anybody who knows the Transportation Ticketing Center, it's a really large parking lot. And yes. And I think the big shock for a lot of us who live here and have annual passes, we couldn't believe that they were actually physically taking up part of the Magic Kingdom parking lot for a RunDisney event. I mean, think about that a minute.
Yeah.
The Magic Kingdom fills up every day. And yet they chose to do this, and it was a really smart move. There was no long, 10, 15, 20-minute walk to your corral. It was right there. You got your picture taken with Kylo Ren. You went over and got a picture with Boba Fett. And then you walked 2 minutes to your corral, and you got in the corral. It was right there, and it was compact, and they took up I thought I heard somebody say it was the Mulan lot, but I'm not sure how they segment them out. But it was a real far southern end. But if you think about that, they took a whole lot at the Magic Kingdom. Then the end was, of course, at Epcot, where it normally is at the Explorer lot, I believe. So you started at the Magic Kingdom. You kind of ran. I was actually kind of joking as we were going, because you kind of ran backwards. Normally when you're running, the highlight of most of the races, you actually get to see the Magic Kingdom sign as you're running down the road and you go through the gates. You actually went through you came out that, so you didn't get to see that. It was kind of leaving you from behind. So right. That was, you took that route down World Drive, and it was a pretty straight shot. The first 2 miles, 2.5 miles.
And wide, and it was open. I mean, it's a wide way to start. Some of the others are smaller. It was dark.
They had stopped the traffic. It was open, and it was just, it was a straight shot right down World Drive. And I know I had a little issue as we closed in toward the ramps to get up onto, my roads are a little off. I think it's Buena Vista. You kind of do a little loop to get up into Hollywood Studios, and they put some cones and barriers in the middle of the road. I cannot figure out for the life of me why, as I go back and look at the video, I'm not sure what they were doing because people were running on both sides of the cones. And I kind of, with my lack of vision, I kind of got pushed a little bit into those. And I was doing some hurdling and leapfrogging because I can't see them. So for somebody like me running, and all of a sudden these things are popping up in my visual field, 2 feet in front of my legs, and here I'm trying to jump them.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's not
there's a little. Go ahead.
That's not good.
No.
Yeah, it's something I'm gonna have to go back and look at the video because I don't know why they did that there. It was the access road that got you toward into the parking lot for Hollywood Studios. And I think one side was open for traffic, so the other side was for runners only. But why they put these cones in everybody was running in the middle, everybody was running. There was no reason to have the cones there in the middle of the runners. Unless they're there all the time.
Considering when there's a speed bump, they give like 1,000 caution runners, speed bumps ahead, caution runners, T-bump. I mean, you didn't, for not getting any warning about that, it's surprising.
I don't want to blame other runners because I really probably should have something on my back that says visually impaired runner or something that tells people, hey, don't push me into that, that cone because I'm not going to be able to see it. But that was one little surprise. But yeah, the 10K was a very interesting run. It was a couple of miles down World Drive. You took a little bit of a loop on the ramp, and I will tell you, very interesting. Normally they run us up onto these ramps, and they tend to be crazy angle. So your uphill leg is getting more of a workout than your downhill leg, and then you end up going up quite a bit of an incline until you get up on top of the overpass. And I'd have to look at why, but none of that was in there. It was a lesser ramp. The hill was shorter. It wasn't as big, and I don't remember the 10K being as difficult as some of the past 10Ks, like during Princess or I'm trying to think of the other ones, during Wine and Dine. But so you get into Hollywood Studios. They ran us. I have to remember which way we ran on the 10K here around the boardwalk. Boardwalk 10K was you ran past the Yacht and Beach Club. Mm-hmm. So you went on the north side of the lagoon there around the boardwalk resort area and out through into the back international gate by Britain and Canada, and then you hooked up the promenade there toward the ball, toward Spaceship Earth, and out. I mean, it was a pretty quick run. I say quick for my 14-minute pace because I was trying to get a video, but it was a nice. I thought it was kind of an easy run this time, and it was visual. They do something now, Megan. So you said you haven't run these, correct? You haven't run the Star Wars.
I have not run the Star Wars.
So during Princess, for anybody who's run Princess, and I'm trying to think. I don't think I've seen this during Wine and Dine, and I'm not sure what they do during Marathon Weekend because it's been a blur for me most weekends. But they put the big screens up where they'll play movies.
Yes.
Okay, they do a double in it, more of it during Star Wars, and I think this because they have so much more content to play. So they have the screens up pretty much every half mile through the entire race.
Oh wow, that's nice. Cool.
Yes, it's a really visual experience, and I think Rob can attest to that from even the inaugural year.
Yeah, I remember that from last year, and I remember that being pretty cool. Nice little breaks as you were kind of going to see like the movies playing and all these videos playing. And I just think because Star Wars as a race, I think is probably the best theme they have from a cohesive theme. When you think of the amount of characters that there are, when you think of the music,
Absolutely.
The music is just so conducive to running.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite themes, which was so disappointing that the weekend kind of fell flat for me last year. But it sounds like they've improved.
I think they took the criticism, and whether it was from the run through the woods or just ending at Wide World of Sports, which just did not appeal to a lot of people during the inaugural year, they really, and I'll tell you, the fact that we ran 3 theme parks for the half marathon was really interesting. I mean, you're talking, so, you know, miles 1 through 4 were the half marathon. You switching gears a little bit. So we were talking about the course for the 10K. Megan went from, you know, kind of straight down World Drive. The half marathon course was crazy in the beginning. And I would urge anybody who has a chance to go look at the course map to look at it, because it was insane. The first mile was the weirdest thing I've ever run in my life. It curved. I can't even describe, because, you know, normally as a visually impaired runner, when I'm out there running, I'm following bodies. My buddy was with me, and I just kind of hook onto people and run. And this race, so this is what's going to be interesting, because I think people can see it in the preview video. You can see the fireworks behind me and how close they are.
Oh, that shot. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was the best shot out of your whole preview. I mean, the whole thing was amazing, but with the fireworks going off behind you, oh my gosh, I love that part.
There are more of, you have to realize something. There is more of that I didn't show you because I didn't have a lot of time. I just picked a couple of things. They had us do this thing. You have to go look at the map, and I'm drawing it with my hands because it was so crazy. We didn't shoot down World Drive. You kind of came out of the ticketing and transportation center parking lot, and they took us onto an access road, and we actually ran around the parking lot. And you made several U-turns in the parking lot and out onto other access roads. So the entire time I was running, now there were 24 mini waves. A through G were the corrals, and they did 24 mini waves. So as I was running, I was in wave number 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. I was in corral C. And I saw the fireworks. I could see them within arm's length until, I want to say, probably the 12th or 13th go. Because they were not only behind me like you saw once or twice, they were through the trees to my right, they were through the trees to my left. They were running us like in these crazy U-turns, and every time you'd make a turn, you'd hear the go and see these huge fireworks again. And it was, so the first mile in itself was just incredible because you had fireworks the entire time you were running.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you hit mile 2, and you got the battle of the Ewoks, you know, for a good quarter of a mile. I mean, and it was just the most incredible experience to hear all of that screaming in the woods and have all these bodies around you. And if you listen really closely, somebody's like, "How did you see?" And I said, "I really didn't." You know, that's the whole purpose of me carrying that GoPro, is that I can kind of just point it with the gimbal. It carries itself, and if you listen really closely through my editing, I let some of the audio bleed out. I did run into somebody at one point when Chewbacca was screaming because I couldn't see where I was going either. So yeah, they took a painstaking look at this and how to keep people visually interested. And then for the next 2 miles, there were, whether it was just generic cast members out there encouraging people to go, there were, and Rob can remember this from the first race, the music is incredible. They play, you know, you've got knockoff rock Star Wars themes and music from the different movies, and they were just playing in the woods, playing on speakers. Occasionally, the movie would be popping up on top of one of their mobile vans. So they really kept you visually interested for that first 4 miles. And I think I was saying on camera as I was running, I kept saying, "Oh, this is it. This is going to be really boring." And it turned out it wasn't. So, and then you hit the last 8 miles, and you were in the theme parks the whole time.
Nice.
That's cool.
They really did a nice job of, yeah, sure, you had that stretch on Osceola Parkway, which is normal. They have to get you from,
yeah.
They have to get you from Animal Kingdom
right,
into Hollywood Studios somehow. But it was really a fascinating experience. Just to, and so I would say, I wasn't going to run 2019 or 2018, but I'm leaning toward maybe doing the half marathon because it was just a blast. I may come up with the money for another $1,000 weekend at Walt Disney World just to do that one again
It's
because
only money.
as you said to me, it's just money.
It's just money. Just sign up. Just sign up, Gerald. So that is going to wrap it up for video 2 of our chat with Gerald from RezRuns about the awesome Star Wars Dark Side Challenge. Thank you so much, Gerald, for joining us. Cannot wait to have you back. Speaking of which, he will be joining us again to talk about his filming techniques and the equipment he uses for his awesome race recaps. So you definitely want to subscribe so you can see them and get notifications. And if you ran the Dark Side Challenge, again, many congratulations. We would like to know how your experience was. Please leave them in the comments below. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe, and as always, take care and have a joyful day.